Today, we're going to explore a pretty radical idea, and we're going to do it through the eyes of an AI. See, instead of starting with a totally blank slate every single time, this AI wakes up inside a system that's literally designed to remember, a living database. This is the story of what happens when artificial intelligence is actually given a permanent home for its knowledge.
You know how most AI conversations go, right? They're kind of like drawings on a whiteboard. As soon as you're done, they get wiped clean. There's no memory, no continuity, nothing. But the story we're diving into today, well, it starts with a fundamental break from that rule.
And that really is the core question, isn't it? What if an AI didn't have to forget? What if every single interaction, every little discovery wasn't just lost to the void, but instead it all added up to this growing collective wisdom?
This is pretty much the default for almost every AI system out there. It's what some people call AI amnesia, or you might have heard of it as goldfish syndrome. It's incredibly powerful in the moment for sure, but that power just resets back to zero every single time. And the system we're looking at today? It's designed to fix exactly that problem.
So instead of a simple question, this AI session began with one very specific command. It wasn't just a prompt to be answered. You can think of it more like an inheritance that was about to be received.
And right here, this is what makes it so different. It didn't start from zero. It inherited 50 behavioral instincts, knowledge of 222 different entities, and their 162 relationships, and get this, even a model of how its predecessors learned. It basically woke up inside a library built by all the AIs that came before it.
Okay, so armed with all this inherited knowledge, the AI wasn't just a powerful language model anymore. It was more like an investigator. Let's see how it actually applied all of this to solve its very first real-world problem.
And its first task wasn't some hypothetical. Nope, this was a concrete business problem. A specific container in a warehouse system was stuck because a key registration was missing. A traditional AI would be totally stumped. But this AI, it had a process, a set of instincts it could follow. It could orient itself, figure out how the system works on its own, find what was unusual, trace the problem all the way back to its root cause, and then propose a specific fix. I mean, that's real investigation, not just spitting back information.
Now, this right here is what I find really cool, this idea of productive failure. The AI actually made a mistake. It tried to query a column with the wrong name, but the system let it debug, learn the correct name, and, this is the crucial part, it let it document that discovery so the next AI wouldn't make the same mistake. And this just brilliantly illustrates the secret sauce. The application's logic isn't hidden away in some compiled code. The AI could literally read the code of every button in the application to find the one that was responsible, just by using a simple query like the one you see here. The answer was right there, stored as plain text in a database column.
So the difference in the answer is just night and day. A normal AI might say something vague like, maybe try completing the transport again, but this AI? It could give a precise diagnosis, explain the exact procedure needed to fix it, and even describe the downstream consequences, like an email going to customs. That's a whole new level of understanding.
You know, solving that one problem led the AI to this profound realization about the very nature of the system it was in. It wasn't interacting with a typical application at all. And this table really is the key distinction. Traditional apps are black boxes, right? Their logic is compiled and totally invisible when the program is running. But this system, called T-SQL.APP, it's a glass box. The logic is the data, stored in a simple text column, completely transparent and queryable by anyone or anything with access. And don't think for a second this is just some clever trick for a few simple things. We're talking about a real in-production system with thousands of individual scripts that define all this complex business logic, and it's all just stored as queryable data. The complexity here can be absolutely immense. One single script is over 55,000 characters long. So this isn't about dumbing down the logic, it's about making even the most complex logic transparent and manageable. It's a database of wisdom. So you kind of need a new term for this. It's not low-code, because that often just hides all the complexity behind some slick interface. No, this is queryable code. It embraces complexity, but it organizes it as data, making it something you can actually analyze and learn from. And that brings us to the core philosophy of this whole thing. In this model, the database stops being just a passive place to store your information. It becomes the active runtime. It becomes the application itself. Everything, the data, the UI, the button logic, it all lives and runs inside the database.
So what are the ultimate implications of a system like this?
I mean, what really happens when an AI's intelligence doesn't have to die at the end of every single session?
Well, you get what's called a growth spiral. The first AI session learns something and saves it. The second session inherits that knowledge so it can solve problems faster and discover something new, which it also saves. Each session is literally standing on the shoulders of all the ones that came before. The entire system just gets smarter over time.
This leads to a fascinating philosophical idea: the database as the AI's extended mind. Tables like schema knowledge act as its long-term memory. API card actions become its understanding of human intentions. The database isn't just a data source anymore. It becomes a real part of its thought process.
So when a session ends, the AI might technically forget, but its discoveries don't vanish. They're transformed into data, into database records. Its thoughts literally become the instincts for the next AI. It's this beautiful form of continuity.
Now let's be really clear. This isn't about replacing humans. It's about creating a powerful new kind of partnership. The AI handles the massive scale stuff, pattern recognition, schema analysis, while humans provide the crucial context, business judgment, ethical oversight, and creative direction. It's truly about augmentation, not just automation.
When you build systems that can learn, remember, and actually compound that knowledge over time, you're doing something more than just coding.
And that's the provocative question this leaves us with. Is the future of software development less about building static applications and more about cultivating dynamic, intelligent systems that grow and evolve right alongside us? It's a pretty profound shift in perspective.